Hey, welcome everybody. This is episode 10 of what was formerly known as the Hatten Health podcast,
Now is
Table Talk podcast with the Hattens.
Table Talk with the Hat.
Yes. This is exciting. And as you see, we have a new setup here. We are here at our beautiful dining room table with this beautiful tree behind us. And you might be wondering what is here on our plates on this table. Why do we have these items here that look like toys?
Because they are toys.
Yeah.
Because we're a toddler parent. And
Why not make it more appropriate to our lifestyle, what we
Yeah.
do on a daily basis?
it is, it's toy food, right?
Mhm.
That are toy condiment, toy salt, and pepper shakers.
Yeah.
So, because we are about nutrition and health and cooking, we thought it'd be more fitting to start recording this at our dining table.
Yeah.
Because that's one of our main things that we focus on with busy families is mealtime and how to address stressful meal times, chaotic meal times, and how to simplify that and help people achieve their trade and mealtime goals. And that starts at the table. So that's why we wanted to start taking this podcast at our dining room table to showcase that and call it Table Talk and invite you to our dining room as well.
Exactly. Oh man, I love that. I love that aspect of it. And I was excited when we started to relocate, but in the same house, but just relocate rooms and background for that reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is episode 10. It's hard to believe we're already 10 episodes in, and we wanted to have like a fun, catchy name to this podcast besides just having a podcast.
Right.
But at first, we couldn't figure out what way to call this or what direction we were really going with this. And after 10 episodes and having amazing guests so far on our podcast, this kind of helped us reframe and kind of niche down what the podcast is really about.
Yeah, it's broaden our scope of what we're talking about, broaden the subject matter beyond just food and nutrition. Talking to health professionals, health and wellness professionals in different fields, in different professions in this field. And that brought along a lot of different conversations. And why not while still adding the aspect of meal times, that's where the whole table talk name concept came from. And as always, maybe different location of the house, different look, different backdrop, different name. The ideology is still the same. And as always, we still focus on family,
health, and empowerment.
So let's make it happen.
Together. So welcome to our table.
And we are going to pick up where we left off from episode 9, where we're continuing this conversation of what health means to us. And I would like to ask Abby this time what health meant to her throughout the course of her life. So we're going to take it all the way back, like recliners and car seats, all the way back to the beginning.
I remember that far back.
Far back as you can remember. Like I started talking back on episode 9, I was talking about, as far as I can remember, age 4 or 5, somewhere around there, whatever I could remember. And it just went in chronological timeline up to the present. So we're going to start with you, as far back as you can remember, what health meant to you, if you was even thinking about health at the earliest stages of your life that you can remember.
I'd say it's my same kind of elementary school years, as far as I can remember. I don't think I really thought about health in the way we talk about it now, but I had a very active childhood. I grew up on a ranch, so it's always running around doing stuff, playing in the mud, things like that. Very active. My mom got me into gymnastics and dance at 3 years old. And so that kept me active as well. And in a structured program, the physical activity that lasted all through high school and college. I guess when health really I realized there's a way to lose your health or have a decline was my grandpa, my papa, Sam. He had a lot of heart problems. And so when I was in elementary school, we took a lot of trips to Denver. We lived in a small Southwest Colorado town. And so to get any specialized care, you had to either go to Albuquerque or the Front Range in Denver. And so He had a triple bypass when my mom, like late high school, early college. So ever since then, he had reoccurring health problems and had to have multiple stents put in.
Mm.
And so I remember we had to take a lot of trips up to Denver or Albuquerque for his either checkup appointments or he would be in the hospital with another stent procedure, things like
Wow.
that. So I didn't really, I knew something was going on with his heart, but I didn't really like understand at the time, but I knew
Yeah.
something was going on. And I put my mom and grandma harping on him about his diet, and he had to make a lot of changes. He ate oatmeal for breakfast every morning after all those heart procedures. He stopped eating bacon and stuff like that at the time. And so, again, I didn't know what was really going on. I just knew that he was having some problems, but then he would always bounce back. And he was a ranger. He was a hard worker. We were always struggling to keep him down and resting.
Yeah.
But he did kind of start to learn rest. He started taking his afternoon naps after lunch and stuff like that. So that's kind of like my first, I guess, interaction with healthcare, was seeing all that my grandpa had to go through. And then growing up too, my mom was pretty strict on my diet, tried to limit sugar as much as possible. We went through all different phases of like, you can only have one sugary item a day, or we would have to be really good throughout the week. And then we'd have our cheat day on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And apparently I don't remember much of this, but I was a really picky eater growing up.
Like it made sweets like a privilege, like something to look forward to, like an incentive to eat your vegetables and your healthy carbs and meats eat your square balanced meals throughout the week, so you can earn that cheat day or cheat meal, whatever.
Yeah. And I think what we thought is healthy is pretty much eating salad all week. And then you can have your cheat day of eating, whatever, going out,
Yeah.
having a Sonic hamburger or something. I'm trying to remember exactly, but yeah, we went through all kinds of different kind of diet phases. That was, 90s and early 2000s. So all the different fad diets, we definitely did all of those, all the skinny trends and stuff like that. Oh, I go to a friend's house and they have whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how does your mom let you eat this stuff or have it in the house? Because, grew up where it couldn't be in the house. Otherwise, that was the first thing that we ate, like Oreos, things like that.
Mhm.
It's just better to not have it at all. So, so I think, had pretty good awareness of health growing up, but maybe not always in the right aspects. Like I said, eating salads was healthy, or later middle school years or early high school, we did the Metafast shakes diets where all we drank for a while was Metafast shakes. And so looking back, maybe not the greatest option for a middle school or high school student.
Was Metafast shakes, were those like that year's versions of the Slim Fast shakes were in the early 90s?
Yeah,
and
it
80s?
was like used to be like a prescribed medical shake,
Oh,
but then
okay.
it became over the counter.
Okay.
And so, so we did that, like colonics, things like that. But I don't think I ever had like a true understanding of like how to properly like fuel my body. Like I said, I was a very active kid growing up. Because I got a little bit older, I was kind of in and out of gymnastics, but I really took to dance. And as I got into like middle school, high school, it was pretty much a part-time job. I was at the dance studio over 20 hours a week. Like I'd go to school and then I'd be there from 3:30 to 9:30 at night every night, and then pretty much all day Saturdays.
It is a part-time job. It really is.
And luckily I went to a small private school where we only went to school Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but then we had our own like homework on Tuesdays and Thursdays that we did ourselves. But still, I was at the studio either teaching classes or assisting with classes for the younger girls at 3:30, and then all my classes till 9:30 at night every week. And so I don't really remember, like I would pack snacks, but I don't remember like meal prepping or like preparing foods. I would take a sack lunch to work or to school. I remember I wouldn't even hardly eat like half of the stuff I packed because we either had a short lunch break, or now looking back on it, it's probably anxiety. Like anytime I ate at school, I would get stomach aches and then I wouldn't want to eat.
Mm.
a lot. And like I said, a lot of times I pretty much just pack salads, things like that for my lunch. And then a lot of times too, especially once I started driving, I would just go through a drive-through a lot of the time in between school and dance to get something quick to eat.
Yeah.
And then after dance, I would be starving. And the only thing that was around our dance studio at the time was a Del Taco. But then, like, I cringed looking back, but just hated, but it's like you smelled it coming out of the dance studio. It was on the way home. It was
Right
the only
there.
thing open. And get the stupid, super greasy burritos and their French fries. And so didn't really like grow up in family dinners a lot because, again, I was dancing all night long, and my dad worked late hours, or he traveled a lot for work. And we would have, occasional family meals, especially like on the weekends and stuff like that. But we never had like the true like family home cooked meal every. And my mom's not big on cooking. My dad likes to cook, but again, he wasn't always home to cook those meals. But so it took me a while to kind of learn how to like really balance a meal, and that's why I wanted to get into nutrition.
Yeah.
Into college. Because, like I said, I was always kind of like health conscious, right? I always had that in the back of my mind about it, but never really truly understand how to fuel my body, how nutrients played a role. And so when I got to college, and I originally majored in interior design, and
That's why our house looks the way it does now. But the genius here, and I just helped out a little bit.
but I thought that's what I wanted to do. That was probably the most inactive year I'd ever had in my entire life. And so, not having the best nutrition and things like that, I was always super active though. So I was a little overweight throughout my middle school, high school years, and I was always like really ashamed of that. But that's a whole nother story. When I got to college, because everybody said, you gained the freshman 15 because
I'm not sure I'm familiar with that term.
Freshman 15.
Yeah.
Freshmen gained 15 pounds their freshman year.
Oh.
Because they're away from home and.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The freedom.
Yeah. I gained the freshman 25s. I gained 25 pounds my freshman year of college. Because, I was extremely stressed. I mean, I love my school. I love K-State, but I didn't know how to take care of myself. Yeah, it was kind of a free-for-all in the dining hall, even though I told myself I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to eat the all-you-can-serve ice cream and stuff like that. And I didn't. I felt like I ate pretty well, but what got me was my studio projects. So interior design is really difficult. You spend a lot of time working on studio projects. It's pretty much another part-time job.
Yeah.
And so on top of all your other classes and studying. So I never sat for that long in my entire life, whether it was doing homework or in classes or doing those studio projects until the early hours in the morning. And so I ate a lot of Pop-Tarts and Milk Duds and like vending machine food to keep me going. And that's what was in the dorms and in the building where our studio class was. And so that's pretty much what I lived on. Not great. And I think just the stress of first time at college and away from home and all of that stuff. And then I kind of followed that trajectory all through college. I would go home and it was like a major yo-yo dieting effect. I would go home, have less stress, be back in my parents' house, more stress. And then I lose weight, work out with my mom and her girlfriends all summer long. Then I go back to school and I gain the weight back. And then it's just never ending. So not great. And I was always super self-conscious about it or mad at myself. College was a great time, but I didn't know really how to take care of myself. I mean, I knew how to cook, things like that, but I just should have done a lot better. And that's why I wanted to get into nutrition and exercise science. So after that first semester of interior design, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this. I like it as a hobby, but I miss being active. Like I said, I sat more in my entire life in that one semester than I had my entire life. And I also started getting severe low back pain and didn't know what was going on. And later found out through an MRI that I had some bulging discs in my low back. That had probably happened while I was in high school, but because I was so active and danced and was strong, I had low back pain and I would always go to a chiropractor and that would help. But I think because I started sitting so much
Yeah.
and losing muscle and not keeping up with my fitness that first year, it really started taking a toll and the pain started showing up. And so that's when I was like, okay, I need to start being active again. I need to start doing that. And I was dancing. I'm still dancing through college, so that helped. But that's why I wanted to get into nutrition and exercise science. So I wound up switching majors, dual majoring in nutrition and kinesiology. And that was good, but also a lot of stress because I was taking over 20 credit hours a semester. And so it was a lot of studying, but at least it motivated me to keep moving. And after I found out the sources of my back pain and trying to get through that, I started going to chiropractor care again, and acupuncture massage, just so I could be able to start exercising again because I could barely walk with that low back pain and sciatica. I was 19 and couldn't even walk across campus.
Right.
And I remember carrying my donut pillow with me to class. It was so embarrassing. And I would take rest breaks to just lay on the grass in between buildings because my whole leg would be numb. And once I
Yeah, a lot of self-care practices at 19 that a lot of people do not have at 19.
Well, I had to. I remember it was so miserable. And then after my sophomore year of college, driving home with my mom, I think it was sophomore year.
I know if I went to the college and still went to the military at 18, knowing the way I was, I definitely would have been a freshman 15. I probably would have had developed other unhealthy habits at that time. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, because I remember, I guess it was after my freshman year. Mom came out, we drove home, and I pretty much had to lay down the whole car ride, 14-hour car ride, because I could not sit because my leg hurt so bad and my back hurt so bad. But after getting chiropractor care and acupuncture to help release my muscles and massage, then I was able to start exercising again and building my core strength, and that was a game changer. And I've been fine ever since. So
That's good that you was on that at
all
that
I
time
had
while
to,
you're still
I
developing.
was 19 and with that kind of chronic pain,
Yeah. Kind of had no choice, really.
I had no choice. I'm like, is this going to be the rest of my life? Like, I have my whole life to live. Like, I'm majoring in exercise science, but I can't exercise.
Right. You're going to be able to practice what you preach and be able to show that you know what you're talking about. You can't have clients if you're in bad shape yourself.
So I think, too, there's always that fear a little bit, like, oh my gosh, like, is this going to hurt? And so it has limited me in a lot of ways, but then also I try to not think about it too much. And then occasionally I get like a little twinge or something, but yeah, it's way better than it was. But yeah, being 19 and having that kind of pain.
So was the pain and the fear of it getting worse over time quickly, was that like the motivating factor that helped you stay with it as far as like throughout your college career and later in college career when you're moving around the K-State, Colorado? Was that like the motivating factor? Was there other things that helped keep you from falling off the wagon, so to speak, the fitness, nutrition?
Yeah, I think that was motivation. Once I started feeling better, I was like, okay, I gotta keep going. Like, I can't get back to feeling this way.
Yeah.
And then once I graduated from K-State, I went on to do my master's in exercise science in Denison, Colorado. That's a small town in Colorado that's super active. Lots of hiking, lots of mountaineering, things like that. And so I joined this high altitude exercise physiology program. And one of the first initial things we did for that program was we were supposed to go on hikes, like group hikes, class hikes, and do research and head trips and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to keep up with everybody. And so that summer, my mom and I and my dad, that was the most hiking we probably ever did in my entire life.
Yeah.
We went on hikes every weekend. Nice. And I got my first actual backpacking backpack. And by then in the summer, I was able to load that up with like 40, 50 pounds and the hiking of mountains. And so that was my like one of the best times. I'm like best shape of my life was probably that summer. I felt so good and so proud of myself that I could do that and
I know
keep
the
up
feeling.
with my classmates.
Yeah.
So when I was in KC and ran my first half marathon one of those summers, but that was also when my back was really bad. So like it was a terrible experience. I did a 6-week training program, which was not good. And then slept on an air mattress the night before the race. And the week, this was so stupid, but my mom and my best friend and I decided to do like a low carb diet the week of the race. And so I like crashed hard. And luckily my best friend Carly, she was with me the whole time. And I kept telling her, like, you just need to go. Just go. Like you're doing it without me. And seriously, and like there was even like a St. Bernard on the side of the road, like
Oh.
all the race, and I like stopped and was just like loving the dog. And I was like, I don't want to do this.
You're my friend right now. You're
Like my time,
right
like
now.
over 4 hours. It was just a flat road. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But then I wound up doing a second half marathon in grad school with my classmates, and that went a lot better. And that was in Moab, and that was a trail run.
Mm-hmm.
You gained over 1,000 feet in that first, I think, like 3 miles. That I felt good, and I was happy to do that. And I wish I had done more half marathons when you did them all, but it always seemed like something came up or I was in a place to do that.
I wish I met you earlier back when you was doing those half marathons, because that was before I met you. But if I was doing those half marathons back when I met you, we both would have done a lot better. Because I was at that time in my life, I think, was you at Western? You said then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, the one I did the Moab was the fall before we met.
okay, yeah, and I think that was the fall that I did some logging part time. Where I mean, it was the previous fall, and that was when I was like the most ripped I've ever been because of how strenuous that job was, carrying those heavy chains, those equipment, those logs up and down those hills, and for those hours a day. And you said all the hiking you was doing with those 40, 50 pound packs, you say using the best shape you was at that time. A lot of people underestimate hiking or just walking or changing in elevation. What that does as a total body workout, and it does wonders for calorie burn, fat burn, your cardio, muscle gain, muscle strength. Yeah. So when you said that, I'm like, yep, I agree. I know exactly what you mean. And I was never a really big runner, but I just when I did the half marathons, I did those for 3 specific goals for those 3 runs. Training led up to those was being if I need the butt kick, I need to get in my shape for that. Before and after those runs, I was never really a big runner. So that's why how I related to your story about the hiking and the half marathons. You said started go off and story about me, but I just had to add that side note.
Yeah. So I guess to answer the question, what health means to me basically through college and grad school is just being able to be physically fit, to be able to do what you want and not have limitations or things that hold you back.
Mm.
When your health is taken away from you, whether that's, medically, like something going on, or physically, like with my back pain, it's debilitating. It's detrimental, and it does affect your mental health as well. You take it for granted until something like that happens.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I was going to ask you, so what does health mean to you now as becoming a mom? Or am I skipping ahead too far? Did you want to bridge that, like from what you just mentioned to now?
I think it's jumping too far.
Okay.
You can always circle back to it. I mean, when it's one thing when you're thinking about your health as an individual, like, because I want to do this, I want to feel this way for me.
Yeah.
And then when you add another person, I mean, when we got married, then I was thinking about you, like wanting to be like looking good for you and being able to do stuff together and stuff like that. And then once our daughter Ayla was born, it just took a whole another layer to that. And worrying about like, oh, am I gonna live to see her turn 18 and grow up? And like, okay, what do I need to do to make sure that happens? But also set a good example for her. I think that is the most important part, is like, I don't want her to necessarily deal with the physical ailments or the weight issues that I have dealt with over my life, body image issues. And so that's my motivation, is to make sure that from the beginning she has the knowledge and the habit and the correct mindset from a young age
Right.
versus having to try to figure out. I mean, she'll have to figure it out on her own and go through trials and errors, but hopefully equip her as best as we can with our knowledge and be able to do things together and show her.
And biologically and emotionally, you can connect to her and relate to her and explain it to her things at a young age and growing up throughout the course of her life as a mother that I probably couldn't as a father, just like female, like woman to woman, woman to young woman, girl ways that just based off of your experience and just things that you would be able to express to her that she may not know or get right away coming from me. I can probably tell her a lot of things, but there's things that she can explain that I probably can't. So that's probably like a little bit of a motivation right there, like showing a good example that you mentioned before.
Yeah, well, coming from you too.
Mhm.
She wants to go exercise with you all the time.
Yeah,
And I mean, you've already started that with her, right?
right.
Like going and riding exercise bike, stuff like that, and the cooking. And so I think we're doing okay job with a
So
start. But yeah, um, I think too. Really became concerned with my health. I mean, been concerned, but when I really like started to like almost scare me was when I was pregnant with her and I started having complications. But
mhm.
when I got COVID at 14 weeks with her and just worrying about like how that was going to affect her,
Yeah,
like not just my health, but how my health is affecting her and hoping I wasn't letting her down in some way.
yeah.
And then that first year of postpartum, I did not take very good care of myself. I wish I took care of myself a lot better, but I was eating a bunch of junk food because it was what
Some
I
of
was
that was
craving and
stress eating too.
stress eating and looking back and I remember like when she turned 1 year old and looking at pictures of myself and I was just like, oh my gosh, like what happened to me? I don't even recognize myself.
I did the same thing. We
Like,
was together in that.
and like I feel like a terrible parent for her too, and that's also why we wanted to start this business endeavor and to not only help other families, but also to really help ourselves,
Yeah,
motivate ourselves, and keep ourselves accountable.
for sure.
And so, yeah, after her first birthday, I was like, okay, I gotta change because also she's gonna start observing what we're doing, what we're
Mhm.
eating,
Yeah.
and so I was like, okay, we gotta be good examples for her because as a baby, is like you don't really think about them watching you or taking, because they're still a baby and they're not really. And once
Mhm.
they become taller, you're like, oh,
It's caused a lot of self monitoring within
you're out.
ourselves,
You're
keeping
like, you
ourselves
gotta
in
keep
check.
yourself, yeah, right, because they're always watching. And so, yeah, after that first point, I was like, okay, we are making changes. I know what I'm supposed to do. Like I studied this. I know nutrition. I know I should be exercising, and I just kind of lost my way for a long time. And that is also why like mindset and being in the right mind frame is so important with any type of health outcome or behavior change because you can have all the knowledge in the world. I'm a prime example. You can have all the knowledge in the world, know what to do, but if you're not in the right mental space or have mindset
Mhm.
or, accountability or community around you,
Yeah.
that the knowledge is obsolete. And
Yes.
so I'm a prime example, and you always do a good job trying to motivate me and keep me accountable. But
It's useless if you don't put it into action. Yeah. That's always the hard part, especially at the beginning when you're trying to make that change to be consistent. Yeah, it's fun when you start to see results, but if you don't keep at it or keep trying to elevate it, then you're going to start to decline or just plateau. And that's the thing that we all struggle with from time to time.
so that's why in our family time course, that's the first module. The first lessons are about mindset, making sure that you're in the mind frame to make changes or address what is going on with your family and their health and your meal times. Because if you're not willing to put in the work and make changes or in the right mind frame,
Mhm.
then you're not going to see the results or reach the goals that you're wanting to. So that's why we start with that because that is one of the biggest pieces of all things health related is just making sure you're in the right mindset and how to get that right way.
Yeah, that mindset module thing is very important. It's like I tell people that I talk to all the time. You got to find what motivates you, what makes you kick yourself in the butt to take that step to better yourself. Everybody has something different that motivates them. A lot of people have a collective thing that motivates each other. And we just talked about things that motivate you. I talked about in episode 9 and briefly on this episode that what motivated me. And I feel like that's been working. I noticed a big change in you. I've felt a little bit of a change in me. I have a long way to go. I know you have goals you want to reach, but
Yeah, this past year I've made more headway as far as getting back
for
into a
sure.
healthier state, getting back to a normal weight, working on it, and being a good example. I mean, our daughter's a good example for that, and our clients and the people that we coach are such a good motivator because I think I had a lot of imposter syndrome for a very long time because it's like I am an exercise physiologist, I know nutrition, but I'm overweight and don't look like it. And so I think I just had this internal battle for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say I wasn't doing what I was preaching, but I wasn't in the right mindset. And I remember I had a professor in college, an undergrad. She was a dietitian as well and taught like our clinical nutrition classes. And she went through this phase when she was a mom as well, when her kids are younger, because she's a clinical dietitian. Like she treats patients in the hospital. She told us about this time she went through this phase where she had like, I think it was like a Wednesday night every week where it was just her at her house by herself. And she would binge eat brownies every single week. And she started gaining all this weight. And then she felt the same way. She's like, I know I should do better. I know I have all the information. I coached other patients how to not do this, but here I am not living by what I'm supposed to do and how horrible it made her feel. And I resonated with me and realized it's okay. Like people have to always have
Yeah.
things together all the
True.
time, but it's a matter of getting back to it.
Yeah.
And so that's where I am right now. And that's why I think that also helps me be a better mom and better coach and hopefully a better wife going through those trials and, learning from them versus somebody who's not saying it's a bad thing for someone to always have been fit or always, being healthy, but I guess it makes it more relatable and I can understand better where my patients are coming from or my clients are coming from because I've gone through it myself
Yep.
too.
Sometimes we don't always notice the differences that we're making when we are making strides in real time until you happen to see an old picture of yourself and you look at yourself now, or you see a picture or video of yourself now, like, wow, it did make a difference. Like I was looking at old pictures of us for other reasons, and I just happened to walk by. Your driver's license was on the counter. I glanced down. I looked up, like, whew, you make some progress. You did some strides. I'm telling you. And like, it always makes me kind of laugh and cringe a little bit at the same time when people say, don't trust a skinny chef. I say, well, don't trust somebody who believes that BS. Because would you take your healthy meals or trust your diet with somebody who's built like Jabba the Hutt? No. So there you have it.
And
If you're trying to eat something to keep yourself alive, yeah.
so I guess circling back to what health means is the longevity part of it, being able to do the things that you want with the people that you want. And for a long time, I thought my goal after graduating college and in graduate school, I really found a passion with working with clinical population. And I think, I know that stems from seeing my grandparents have a lot of chronic issues and complications. And I mentioned my grandfather on my mom's side and all his heart issues, and same with my grandfather on my dad's side, and seeing all that they went through. And that's why I wanted to start working with cardiac and pulmonary patients based on my personal experience and personal family, because I wish I had been able to help them when I couldn't. And so I had a mission to helping with other people like my grandparents. So in grad school, I worked in a nursing home under a PT to help those patients. And then my dream job was to get into a cardiopulmonary rehab. And so I finally achieved that back in our hometown. And I love that job. And it was a super rewarding job. And I taught nutrition. We taught a lot of education classes with those Not, it wasn't just the exercise part, but we did a lot of education too. And so I had revamped and taught the nutrition classes and taught it to everybody so we can all teach it and things like that. We did stress management. We did risk factor education for heart disease. And a lot of patients would come in and ask, like, especially after the nutrition class, like, I wish I had known this growing up, or I wish I had known this before my heart attack, or I wish I had known this 10 years ago. Like, what a difference that could have made. And they would always ask, like, why aren't we, like, why does no one know about this before their heart attack? And never had a great answer for them, unfortunately. So after having our daughter Ayla, that's when I really hit home for me too, was to try to focus more on preventative health. Start at a young age, start with the kids, start education. I mean, there's some education out there, but it's hard to find and it's hard to sift through all the noise out there and the health influencers and stuff like that. And there's government websites and programs, but you have to sift through all the websites and stuff, and it's always hard to find or to get a dietitian appointment. And a lot of times, you have to check with your insurance, or you can only a lot of times see an actual registered dietitian if you're diagnosed with diabetes or pre-diabetic, and when it's too late, you pay a bunch of money up front out of pocket to see one. And there are, pediatric dietitians out there who do a great job and are totally great in what they do, but there just needs to be more people advocating for just general health knowledge for young families and for kids at a young level. And so that's the mission now, is for kids and families to hopefully never have to be another chronic health statistic, because those numbers are constantly rising, and hopefully keeping their parents and themselves out of cardiac rehab. The job that I had before, I wanted to be non-existent. Yeah. So I guess that's where health stands now, is being able to age gracefully, be active, to live your best life with your family and be able to do what you want when you want, all the way up until you're 80 years old.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to follow that, but just saying thank you.
I
don't
know if I answered the right questions, or
I think you answered it plus more. You gave all the information that people need to hear starting off. If this is your first time hearing it from us, first time tuning into the show, or your first time hearing about us, or if you've known about us for a little while, hope you're getting something new to take with you and to tell your friends and family about. This is very valuable information, and it's fun to talk about it and share it with everybody. I want to thank you for sharing your story with everybody.
Thank you for sharing your story in the last episode.
It feels like, as long as I've known you, as much as I've known about you, all the conversations we've had before we even thought about starting this podcast, still I pick up tidbits of new stuff just doing the shows that we do, like even today and previous ones. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing this so much with you, why we love doing this, because even though we've known each other more than we probably know anybody else, or anybody else knows us, certain things that we share with each other that we haven't shared with others, we still learn new stuff. So it's keeping aspects of our relationship fresh. It's keeping the information that we're sharing with you fresh. And I love it. I love you. And thank you. And thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. If you want to stay close to your partner or have something to talk about or keep you guys occupied, you don't fight and you argue and
don't get dull. You just stare at each other all day
together.
Yeah, especially if you have a business together.
And you learn, you get to work together and spend more time together. And
Loving it.
You always have something to talk about.
For sure.
Too much to talk about today.
Like we said at the top of the show, continue to search Table Talk with the Hattens, because that is the name of the show moving forward, Table Talk with the Hattens. Also, you can follow us on our YouTube channel at Hatten Health, Hatten Health LLC, if you want to type it that way. We're on TikTok at Hatten Health, Instagram, Facebook, same name, Hatten Health. You can catch us. We're on this podcast. You listen to the audio. It's on Spotify, Amazon Prime, Apple Podcasts. Yes.
Anywhere.
The video is on.
Yeah. And a few more announcements. So the beginning of August, August 1st, we're having a new group starting our family time program. It's a 12-week program for parents of young toddlers ages 1 to 4, 0 to 4. So this is a great opportunity, especially right before school starts or older kids going back to school or full-time daycare, parents not traveling as much or family vacations, getting back to that. So this is a great opportunity to start revamping your meal times, knowing how to meal prep, how to provide your family tools and resources, also how to get your kids involved in enjoying making meals together in the kitchen. So we prioritize spending less time in the kitchen, but also the time that you do spend in the kitchen is meaningful and full of connection because you're inviting your kids in there with them. It allows for growth. It allows for them to learn about where food comes from. It diminishes picky eating.
Yep.
And also helps build a foundation for positive food relationships for the kids too at a young age and for the parents. And so we have lots of worksheets, handouts, lessons. You go over cooking hacks and tips and
recipe tips and information. And that leads into another useful tool that can help you and your family with all that is the Hatten Health app that we launched. So you can get 100 plus recipes in that app. The app you can share recipe ideas and you can build community with that with other members. You can connect with using the AI engine that can search all the grocery stores in the area that compare different deals, compare who has what in stock. We can get all your whole grocery shopping list done at one place.
And generates the shopping list for you based on your weekly meal plan.
Yep.
And automatically puts that into the shopping list for you. That also tells you where to shop for the best deals for the week. And then to the community aspect, being able to share recipes with people. It's huge.
Yeah, they help you keep track of what you have stocked in the house, what you need, what you use, what you don't use, and have other things available to do on that app also.
Like nutrition tracking.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It takes a lot of the best features from a lot of other apps out there like that, but that does many other things. Well, it combines the best elements of the research that we've done from the hundreds of apps that out there into one, plus things that you don't see a lot of other apps doing. So yeah, it's a web-based app right now. It's at app.Hatten Health. So you search that and it's there. You can build your profile for free. Let us know what you think. We would love to hear your feedback because your feedback helps us grow and make it better, which in turn helps you, the user, get a better experience from that.
Like I said, family time starting August 1st. You can find that information on our website or link in bio on our socials. So that's August 1st. And then also to help kind of kickstart that, we also have our monthly free cooking class that's virtual as well, called Sunday Family Dinner. That's going to be the next Sunday, August 2nd at 4:30 Mountain Standard Time. So this is a free online cooking class. All you have to do is get your ingredients ahead of time, but then you can cook along with us. Or if you don't feel like cooking, you can always just watch. You'll get set the replay and the recipe after the cooking class as well. This is another fun opportunity to be able to cook with other families virtually. And we break down all the nutrition information of the dish and explain cooking hacks and stuff like that along the way too. It's just a fun way to get to interact with us, and cook with us, ask questions, and learn a new recipe as well. That's usually 30 minutes to make. We try to do one pot dishes, so they're easy, not a lot of dishes. They're fast. And this is just a fun way to have another recipe added to your repertoire without having to go to Pinterest and save something and then forget about it.
And try to see your recipes and the ingredient list a week ahead of time. We like to get people involved through social media, asking, like, we send out a couple of meal ideas and say, get people to vote on which one do you think you'd like to see us cook and what would you like to cook along with us virtually. So we try to do that early. For example, our August 2nd class tonight, as we're recording this, is the last hours that you can vote. So by the time you see this, the voting had already been ended because it's probably going to be out Sunday or Monday. So we try to promote it during the month before. So the next one will be start trying to promote it shortly after this airs.
Yeah. So you can sign up for free. Our website at hattenhealth.com. So like I said, it's really fun. You'll get the ingredient list ahead of time and come cook with us.
Yeah. Well, another one down, leading on to looking forward to the next one.
And our new setting.
New setup, new title. Oh, this is fun. As we always say, at Hatten Health, we love to focus on family,
health,
growth,
and empowerment.
So make it happen.
Together.
One more cheers. Oh, and cheers to you if you were a listener. Thank you.
Thank you for being on it.